Hey guys, today is Monday, November 30th. It is 3:10 p.m. and the temperature right now is around 6 degrees Celsius. This is the intersection of Yonge and Eglinton in the midtown Toronto neighborhood. And the plan for this one is to head south down Yonge Street to a residential street called Balmoral Avenue. And from there, I'll walk west over to Poplar Plains. And then I'll head south down towards Dupont Station. Here's a look back at the intersection of Yonge and Eglinton. You've probably noticed it is raining. It's been raining like this pretty much all day, and it's not supposed to let up until later in the evening. I was originally going to grab my bike and go for a spin and record that, but I think that'll have to wait till another day. And I'm currently walking south on the west side of Yonge Street. If the initial part of this walk looks a little familiar, that's because I came this way on a recent snowfall video I recorded. And I also recently live streamed down this portion of Yonge Street. If you're more interested in the residential streets, there are timestamps in the description where you can skip ahead to that part.
Is that way Eglinton East?
Eglinton, the subway station?
No, just the buses.
The buses would be through the station there.
Through the station?
Yeah, just enter the station and there's a bus bay right in there. He was asking me where Eglinton East is, and he was pointing south, but he was looking for the bus, standing right in front of the entrance to Eglinton Station. So I just told him to pop into the station. From there, he'll be able to catch any of the applicable buses in this neighborhood. As it's raining, I am recording this with the Osmo Pocket 1, not my newer Pocket 2 camera. That used to be where TD Molosh was located. That was a group home and auto insurance provider. And that used to be the art shop. This building went up in a hurry, and now there's a Farm Boy supermarket in there, as well as a Staples. So for this route in particular, I Googled Eglinton Station to Dupont Station, and the route I'm taking is the route that Google suggested to take by foot. The coast looks clear here. And the street Balmoral I'll be turning down is something someone had requested during a live stream. So I thought it might be neat to check that out It's supposed to be one of the nicer residential streets in the city. The entire walk should be somewhere around 4.5 kilometers, and I imagine it would take less than an hour. Come on. You're not supposed to start your turn until it's clear. Typical impatient driver. And one of the reasons for that is if you've started your turn and you get rear-ended, you'll get pushed into the direction that you were turning. So you would hit any oncoming traffic or pedestrians or cyclists. And there's where I brought my front wheel in to be repaired. The tube blown. And I decided rather than fix it myself, I'll bring it in and have a local business take care of it. These are rather trying times for local businesses. There's another local bike shop over there, Skis and Bikes. So this part of Midtown is often referred to as Yonge and Davisville. You can see there the street sign indicates Midtown on it. This place has a very large outdoor patio setup and a number of heat lamps. Although they are not allowed to serve customers outdoors or indoors as part of the current restrictions. There's a new Thai restaurant I've been meaning to try. The rain's not so bad now. We are supposed to get somewhere in the neighborhood of 5 millimeters from 2 to 3 p.m. And this walk should take me just to the north of downtown. And I've only ever ridden my bike down Balmoral a few times, but I don't have the greatest memories of it, so I'm kind of curious to see just how nice that street is. I think there's been a few different people that have requested that I record down that way in the past. Here is the Wallace Gastropub. I've been there a number of times. They have a rather neat patio in the rear. And up ahead here is the intersection of Yonge and Davisville. Well, that would be Davisville to the east. And to the west is Chaplin Crescent. And this is where TTC Davisville subway station is. That's where the headquarters of the Toronto Transit Commission are located. And there's the 97 bus. You can use that as an alternative down Yonge Street. Here's a look at the entrance to Davisville Station. This is an outdoor subway station, and I think it used to be the terminus station of Line 1 at some point. And now it's south to the Yonge and St Clair neighborhood. Through an area known as Deer Park. And there's not going to be a whole lot to see for the next 4 or 5 minutes or so as I go down a rather boring stretch of Yonge Street. Although perhaps I'll catch a subway train or two go by, as the tracks are above ground and outdoors through this stretch of Yonge Street. I'll be heading under the K. Gardner Beltline Park Trail. That's built on an old rail line from the 1800s. It only operated for a few years. And recently the city has converted it into a trio of Beltline trails. There's the York Beltline Trail to the west and the K. Gardner Beltline Trail in the middle of the section, which is here. And just to the southeast of here is the Moore Park Ravine section of the trail. And we're in luck. We caught a Line 1 train heading up to Finch Station. And it looks like a southbound train will be heading past us in a minute. There's a large rail yard here. This here looks like a service train, RT 34 and 35. A number of times at night I've seen that yellow platform roll through different stations along this part of the subway line. particularly at Davisville, but I've seen it at Eglinton Station and St Clair Station as well, which is just to the south of Davisville. And it looks like that southbound train is held up at the station for whatever reason. It's not an uncommon occurrence on the TTC. And there is Mount Pleasant Cemetery. That's one of, if not the largest cemetery in the city of Toronto. It's a giant park in itself, so it's kind of a place where you'll catch people going for a jog and long walks. I've been through there in a few videos before. It was suggested that I record a live stream through there on Halloween, but the park or the cemetery closes at night. As you can see, winter is almost here. The trees are almost entirely bare. Usually all it takes is a good rainfall or two to knock what's left of the leaves off of the trees. That was kind of neat. Whatever the delay was on the southbound train, it's cleared up. I will say the TTC has been doing a much better job lately of clearing up delays. There used to be someone going down to track level or an injury at track level, which often means a jumper would stop the entire system for hours on end, but I haven't noticed that happening too often lately, even before the pandemic. There's a look north along the tracks, and there's a lot of rental buildings just to the other side of the train tracks there. This area of Deer Park is kind of sandwiched between some of the city's most expensive and more exclusive neighborhoods. Just to the west of Deer Park is Forest Hill. And just to the east is Moore Park. And to the south of there is Rosedale. And now we're starting to get back into civilization a bit. Yonge and St Clair is probably the second biggest node in midtown Toronto after Yonge and Eglinton. Bathurst and St. Clair would certainly be up there, as would Bathurst and Eglinton. Those are probably the four big midtown Toronto intersections. This here is Heath Street. You could take that over to Avenue Road, which would be the next major north to south street that runs parallel to Yonge Street. There's a Popeyes. I've eaten at this location many times. Although, as I mentioned in yesterday's live stream, I am making a conscious effort to eat mostly at locally owned small businesses lately. And that's just to help give them some support during the pandemic. It's a look into Dollarama. And while most small retailers aren't able to open, at least not to in-store customers, Dollarama is. I guess their food supply justifies them as being deemed essential. Smoothies, $5 after 3 p.m. So this is the intersection of Yonge and St Clair I'm approaching. It does have a dedicated streetcar line. And through the St Clair Center, you can access St Clair subway station. And just to the west of here at Bathurst is St Clair West subway station. St. Clair West Station is probably about 6 or 7 minutes on the streetcar from here, so it's not too bad. one thing I do miss on this camera is the zoom feature. My newer camera, I can do a pretty clear 2x zoom when filming in 4K. And I can't do that on the older one. There's a Book City. They would be open for curbside pickup only. A lot of people are kind of upset about the fact that you could waltz into a Walmart and browse their books, or a Costco, but you can't do it there. It's a really old cemetery in there. I've live streamed from over there before. It's kind of spooky looking at night. You can see the large towers off in the distance around the Yonge and Bloor neighborhood. That tallest one there is 1 Bloor East, soon to be joined by an even taller tower on the other side of Yonge Street, 1 Bloor West. That one will be over 1,000 feet tall, and that sort of signifies the northern border of downtown. And here we are at Balmoral Avenue. So the next fairly large stretch of this walk will be residential. And this street in particular is one I haven't yet explored on the channel. And I'm not too familiar with it. So you'll be exploring it with me for the first time here, pretty much. Just want to get on the other side of the street. I'd rather not walk alongside all the parked cars. There seems to be an interesting mix of older homes and what looks to be much more recent additions, such as these guys over here. Apparently, not too far to the east from here is a street that has a lot of large inflatable Santas as part of its annual tradition. I was thinking of heading out that way, perhaps sometimes in the evening. Chestnut Park for lease. I wouldn't even want to know what the rent would be on one of these places. I would assume the ask would be 2 to 3 million minimum on most of these homes. This is one of the more desirable neighborhoods in the city. You have a good proximity to good schools, as well as transportation, and you're close to downtown. The only thing you're not really close to, especially for people that would own a car, is a major highway. You'd have to go quite a ways to the east of here to get on the Don Valley Parkway, and quite a ways to the north to get on the 401, although Avenue Road right here is a pretty clear shot north up to the 401. You just have to traverse around Upper Canada College. It'll be interesting to see if there's a lot more Christmas decorations added. It's certainly understandable if not everyone is quite in the mood this year. I would typically go up to Niagara Falls and visit the family at this time of year, but that's in jeopardy. We'll have to wait to see what the restriction level status is at the time. I do have a car reserved from Enterprise to cover 6 days off over Christmas. I was hoping that I could travel around a bit and do some walks and live streams from different parts of the GTA, and even pop through Hamilton. But like a lot of plans a lot of people have had, that's all in jeopardy, it seems. And this here is Avenue Road. Looks like there's a crossing guard on the other side of the street. Just to the south of here, actually I am south of St. Clair, rather just to the north of here is the Korean consulate, and not too far to the south is the neighborhood of Yorkville. Looks like I'll get my chance to cross the street in a few seconds. The rain seems to have picked up quite a bit. So I'll be turning left up here on a street called Poplar Plains, which not too long ago I recorded a bike ride. Going up, it's one of the steeper, more intense hill climbs you can do around the downtown core. There's certainly much bigger ones, but in this area, it's one of the toughest. And that looks like a Corvette. I think that's one of the new mid-engined Corvettes. I don't really know a whole lot about cars, but if you put a Ferrari badge on that thing, I wouldn't disbelieve it. They look pretty darn nice. And apparently they have their performance to match. So here we are at Poplar Plains Road. So you could take this north to St Clair and you'd be pretty much in the Forest Hill South neighborhood. There's a monster of a home on the corner up there. This is a one-way street that goes to the north. Just to the west of here is Russell Hill, which is also a really nice street, and it's really neat to ride your bike down. That's one way in the other direction. And this is Clarendon Avenue. Those are some rather neat looking homes. So hopefully I'll be able to have this video up for Wednesday morning. The video I had uploaded for Monday morning, which is today, never ended up processing in 4K or even HD, despite the fact that I uploaded it nice and early on Sunday. So on Sunday night I tried it again and the new upload failed. So I have a support ticket open with the folks at YouTube. That's one of the benefits of being a creator with a larger channel. They do offer you support. That one was a Saturday evening walk through the Greektown neighborhood. So hopefully by the time you see this, that walk has been uploaded. Although if this one gets processed first and that one is still stuck, you might see this one at its place. Look at that thing, wow. I kind of wish I had my other camera right now with the wider angle lens. And I've started to descend down Poplar Plains. This part's quite the bugger to come up on a bike. There's a pretty big monster home in there. And I think there'll be a school just around here on the right. And when you're in an area like this, it's hard to appreciate just how close you are to downtown. These are the kind of areas that perhaps once upon a time were somewhat obtainable by people just looking to work hard and save up. But now, for even most upper middle class people, this type of neighborhood would be well out of reach. And just on the other side there is where you'd be coming down on your bicycle in the other direction. That street there is Poplar Plains Crescent. Looks like another extremely affluent street in this area. We're almost at Dupont Street. Here's the school I was referencing. The Maiden School. I would assume this is private. Let's see how many luxury SUVs we have in a row. There's a Cadillac and a Mercedes, another Cadillac, hey, a Chrysler. Not everyone picking up their kids as a show-off. Here we have a Volvo. All right, so we're getting a little more into normal territory, I guess. The better your car, the closer you get to the front of the line. There is the Toronto high-level pumping station. This was built by the village of Yorkville back in 1875. I'm not just reading that off the plaque. Of course not. So on Google Maps, when I chose Eglinton Station to Dupont Station, it said to turn right here on McPherson, which to the east of here is a very nice residential street, but it's sort of a back alleyway to George Brown College, I think, just to the west for the part that Google would have me walking down. So I am going to circumvent that and just go down to Dupont Street. I don't know why that lady's instinct was to walk to her left. To me, it's just kind of common sense that you move right when you're head on with another person. I don't know how this place is supposed to smell or sell Christmas trees if they're not allowed to have in-store customers, but it looks like they're trying. And these are the old CP rail tracks right here. DuPont's a former industrial street. It's got a rather rich history to it. And one of the main reasons for that is its close proximity to the railway tracks. And this neighborhood here would be known as the Annex. This would be the northern end of it. So this was actually Davenport Road I was on. Davenport runs east to west, but for this section, it heads south. And then when it gets to around Bay Street, it'll head east over to Yonge Street, and then it'll essentially turn into Church Street. And this here is Dupont Street. So just to the west of here at Spadina Road will be Dupont Station, which is also on Line 1, where I started at Eglinton Station. Line 1 heads southbound to Union Station, and then it makes a U-turn and heads north up University Avenue. Here's an LCBO, which is allowed to have in-store customers, although throughout the pandemic they have closed on Mondays. I've mentioned it before, but I think it's quite contradictory that liquor stores are allowed to be open, but cannabis shops aren't. They're limited to curbside pickup. It's certainly going to be a cold, miserable winter for a lot of cannabis customers. And this is Madison Avenue. Dupont by the Castle. I didn't know that was another neighborhood name for this area. Casa Loma is just to the north of here. You could head up what are known as the Baldwin Steps and get quite a spectacular view of the city of Toronto. And here's Spadina Road, just to the south at Bloor Street. Spadina Road turns into Spadina Avenue. That's one of the more well-known intersections in the Annex neighborhood. You can kind of see Casa Loma off in the distance there. And here is Dupont Station. There's some plaques up to commemorate the defeat of the Spadina Expressway. That was a highway that was originally going to follow the Allen Road and continue on south. And it would run right upside Casa Loma and pretty much right through the heart of what is now Chinatown. So that would have been quite tragic. And I did it in under an hour. I'm not going to head into the station here, so I'd like to thank you for watching this walk from Eglinton Station, kind of zigzagging southwest all the way down to Dupont Station in the Annex neighborhood. There are links to my Patreon and Instagram accounts in the description, as well as you can check out channel memberships on the main page itself if you wish to support the channel. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you on the next one.